Hey, welcome back. I've made some updates to the Woodshedding Challenge interface. Again, if you haven't taken part in this, this is completely free. Hop over onto shredmentoronline.com/WC. That's for Woodshedding Challenge. You don't have to pay anything. All you have to do is enter an email address so that you can actually access it and get your link to be able to log in. And basically, this is also going to enable you to personalize the things on what I'm about to show you right now. This is the main thing about this is in terms of woodshedding, in terms of just personal improvement on in any instrument. Clearly defined goals get accomplished directly. They're actionable. A lot of people don't do this, and they don't really know just specifically how detailed you need to get in order to make it actionable. So you end up getting really vague things like, I want to improve my guitar playing. Well, yes, obviously, but what about it? What is that? What does that even mean to you? All right, so it's going to be a rather personal definition, but there's going to have to be something actionable about it that you can actually focus on. So a lot of people don't really do that, and so unfortunately it ends up just being sort of a lot of just randomly wandering from one thing to the next, and no real strategy about it whatsoever. This is going to help you stay focused, and it's almost going to be like a virtual post-it note on the wall for you to just keep that in mind and keep looking at it in ways that, looking for ways to basically keep kind of staying focused on that and keep coming at those different goals in different ways, to keep approaching them in different ways. All right, so I've done already a couple of different things different to the interface since I did the walkthrough video, mostly just to kind of get things out of the way. Some of the new features were starting to take over the page. So the Fretboard Essentials is actually collapsible now. First off, just going over the things that have changed very slightly. It's the same stuff as before, the same scales, but you can now click on the actual thing if you want to get that out of the way, or if you want to see how well you've committed it to memory, because let's face it, knowledge is only knowledge once it's committed to memory. If you have to keep looking at it, it's not knowledge yet. It's not your knowledge, it's somebody else's maybe. But same thing with the Woodshedding Challenge backing tracks. The entire thing is just collapsible. So you can make the entire interface almost fit onto one page if that's a priority for some reason. But by default, both the Fretboard Essentials and the Woodshedding Challenge backing tracks are all expanded by default. That's because that's the actual main interactive part of the page. But the one thing I really wanted to show you in this video is the first thing, the Woodshedding Challenge practice tools. There's a quick two-step thing here, but there's another page that you need to visit, and that's why I put these two links side by side in order. Basically, maximize your results when practicing. As I said, you want to actually clearly define your goals so that you actually know what you're working toward very specifically, not a general idea, very specific. So let's click on that and actually take a look at what we're dealing with here. Okay, there's a couple things on this page that are also part of the guitar practice tools, and I'm logged in with, well, I mean, I own the site, so I have full access to everything because I made it, but this guitar practice tools menu will just be there if you all also happen to have guitar practice tools, because this is actually just one of the tools from the guitar practice tools suite in its full form. You can also access the same thing. Basically everywhere these appear on the site, it is now collapsible, just because stuff starts to get in the way and it's just cluttered. My areas of focus, now right here, right, there's some tooltips here. It's basically, as soon as you start adding things to this list, that text is not going to be there anymore. It's just to kind of get you started. But I'm just going to walk you through real quick what this is, okay? What the thinking was behind this. I'm going to set up a practice routine for myself, just so you can see what this might look like. So right away, okay, we've still got this so we can get back to our Woodshedding Challenge page. But for now, okay, my areas of focus is going to be that sort of post-it note on the wall that we want to use to kind of make sure we stay on track. So I'm going to just add alternate picking, day 1. It's going to take you right to a page where you can add some notes if you want. So let's say consistent alternate picking rhythm and speed. All right, and I'm going to actually make this 16th notes. You can kind of ignore the links to pages. Now, if you need, like, if you have like a YouTube video or something that you want to be able to actually play along to instead of, or in addition to what these audio tools are on this page, this is the place where you would actually paste that. This is notes to yourself. You're the only one who's going to see this. This is why you need to have an email address to access it, because it's going to be very specific to you. Just one size fits all stuff, it's not very effective. It'll give everybody a small result, but to get big results you have to get personalized about it. This is something that I actually originally created because when I teach people in lessons, I actually fill this stuff out occasionally depending on what's needed. I haven't done it lately, frankly, but it's just, these are all functions for me to be able to get very, very specific as needed with specific students to do specific things and refer to specific things. So this will all show up. So on the next page, basically just click check on day one. All right, I'll talk about this day one thing. Why did I do that? Okay, so you won't see anything right away, but this my areas of focus thing, that's what's going to actually change. I'm going to refresh the page real quick, and it's not there. No, I'll show you in a moment. I'm also going to add day two. Now, here's the thing, all right? This is so that you can rotate what you're working on throughout the week so you can cover more, okay? So I'm going to also work on alternate picking on day two. I'm just going to click right in there because it's going to kind of recognize what I did. But now I'm going to do triplets. Actually, and sextuplets, because sextuplets are just double speed triplets. So if you're starting from triplets already and the tempo is low enough where you can actually double that speed up, you can actually practice going back and forth between both. So triplets are great for doing your sextuplets as well. Just like 16th notes are great for doing 8th notes and 16th notes, or even 32nd notes if the tempo is low enough for you to be able to keep up at the next double speed. All right, so that's what that's for. So day one, day two. Okay, now I'm just going to go back to the Woodshedding Challenge page now. And when you look at my areas of focus, well, I already had sweep picking, economy picking, and string skipping in the list from just my actual goals. I use this site too, by the way. That's what this is for. So now you can see that we have an alternating day one, day two. Now I would go through and add these same exact things. You can see where we had this though, alternate picking first, and then you have your consistent picking rhythms and picking speed. All right, and it just has these vertical pipe characters just to kind of sequester off what our notes are to ourselves. But that's what this is basically about. And it goes up to 7. It's going to be a little cluttered on the page, but I built it in such a way so that you could theoretically be doing a different thing every single day of the week. That's what that's for. If you're not sure, or if you just want to just get the hang of this, just do day one. Just add everything to day one as the default thing. Because as you see, it's going to create another column, and it's going to be alternate picking for day two. So when you practice it another day, make sure something's different about it. You know, focus on another aspect of that technique. So that's kind of the idea there. So as you go through, let's go back to the practice setup page here, and now you can see that my areas of focus has populated. Sometimes this whole interface doesn't really want to show up until you go somewhere else and come back, so you might have to refresh the page a little bit. All right, so let's say sweep picking. All right, so I've already got my small sweeps. That's my nickname for 3-string 4-note sweeps. Basically 2 notes on the first string, 1 note on the second, and 1 note on the third is the most common way you end up seeing that. But that format, that note layout, can be applied on any 3 adjacent strings. If you're doing sweep picking, you do want them to be adjacent strings so that you can drag with one motion right through the set of them. You technically could string skip with sweep picking, but it's not very friendly, and I prefer to probably do alternate picking, but I was going to do that. So anyway, sweep picking, right? Small sweeps and 7-note sweeps. Those are already kind of triplet friendly anyway. If you ever want to update the note on this, by the way, you have to kind of click the X, remove it from your list, and then re-add it and update the note. There's no editing on the notes. Sorry, that's just how the function works. It would be nice if you could just edit it, but it's not that kind of thing. Okay, so sweep picking. All right, let's go down through here now. This this is a long list, so as I scroll through here, you can see some crazy amount of stuff here. We're not going to do all that, but let's say you don't want to deal with all that. That's what this little thing is for. Just type the word sweep, and it'll just automatically find anything that has that word in there. And you see there's not that much, it's just the one, and now I can add that. Let's say alternate between triplets and playing sextuplets of the same pattern twice, right? So one time of the triplets and then 2 times of the sextuplets. Those will be equal in length, and you can go back and forth, but you get to slow down to the more manageable triplets pace, so you can kind of mentally take a breath real quick, and then you ready, set, go, double speed. Good. And just keep doing this kind of normal speed, double speed kind of bursts. Really good for just building your overall ability to play with speed in a fluid musical kind of way, and just to be able to spontaneously do it at will. Let's see, working on my economy picking. Again, this is all, notice everything's picking right now. I'm just getting started, so this list can kind of become kind of big. Ideally, I would recommend doing a 2-day thing, but first, just set up a day 1 thing, because really what I'm also doing is I'm doing a rhythmic theme of the day strategy. I'm going to get into another video where I talk about that and why I would do such a thing, and what that accomplishes, that just practicing random different stuff just purely based on what technique I want to do does not really quite accomplish. So there's some extra things that I add on, different specific strategies that mostly ones that I've developed, but a couple of them are ones that I found that I've adopted and then adapted to get even more high quality results out of it in a shorter time, and to mostly just kill as many birds with one stone as I possibly can. That's, more with less. Less is more when it comes to doing less and accomplishing more, Okay, so economy picking. I'm going to do something that's not picking related at all. All right. Well, it is a little bit. I'm going to do some sequences. All right. So you might know already that I have a book called The Book of Sequences, and I wrote it in 2017, and it's like 108 pages long, and there's an ebook version. You're welcome to get it if you want. But what I have done actually is after writing that book, I made this interface, and as you go through it, I'm just going to type the 3 letters SEQ, because that'll take care of anything that has the word sequence in it. Didn't register the Q there. All right, now you can see a bunch of stuff dealing with sequences, and just simply master a specific sequence. This is where, if you have one that's sort of numerical. All right, I have, let's see, let's do, we're on day 2, and that's going to be my triplet and sextuplet day. So let's do combine sequence of 3s, 4s as triplets or sextuplets, sequence of thirds with connect 4 and middle string zigzag. It's a lot. That's why we have this notes thing here. All right, now we see that's in there. Combine things, purposely going out of your way to combine these sequences, and I'm making a sequence of sequences in order to do that. Let me grab a guitar real quick to see what I'm talking about there. Do not expect good audio here. I'm just showing you the melody. Okay, so yeah, now I'm not gonna remember that tomorrow, right? It's late at night. I'm gonna go to sleep soon, and I'm not gonna remember this. So that's what this is kind of there for too. Again, I use this. This is actually, I'm the guinea pig for a lot of this stuff. And I'll find out what frustrates me, and if it frustrates me and I built the thing, I can be sure that it's going to frustrate someone using it. So that's how I weed out things and add new features, because like sometimes stuff's just annoying after I build it a certain way and need to make it better. So sequence, right? Master a specific sequence. I'm going to add some sequences to day 1 too, by the way, but Sequences are one of my favorite things to practice. But all right, sequence of threes. All right, I'm just going to use, let's see, I'll use E minor. Oh, by the way, well, that's actually E minor, real E minor. I'm actually tuned down a half step. I'm going to use Baroque E minor, which is a half step lower than modern concert pitch. Sequence of threes. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to basically keep things to maybe 12 beats long, depending on the length, right? Sequence of fours. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Now that's 12 also, but it's a very different feel. It doesn't feel like triplets. It feels like 3, 4, 16th notes. And it's not really what I want. But I do need it to be 12 notes, so it's a matter of accenting it differently. So I'm going to do the sequence of threes first, fours, right? Got that. I want to be able to do them back and forth in either order, so I'll just pick both of those first, and I'll just alternate between them as triplets either way. Then I've got the sequence of thirds with the connect 4. That's 1, 3, 2, 4, 3, 5, 4, 6. That's actually 8 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The connect 4, basically, if you have 6 notes, right? 6, take away the outer notes, 1 and 6, you have the 4 middle notes. Notes 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 5, 4, 3, 2. That's what that is. 12, right? Now I'm playing it as triplets already. So now I want to be able to use the sequence of threes and alternate back and forth between the sequence of thirds with the connect 4. These are all 12 beat melodies, so they're all going to be the same length as each other. I just need to force them all to be the same accenting so I can use them in the same situation. Threes. Notice that I'm just using 6 notes, and I'm not doing the connect 4 thing with the sequence of fours or the sequence of threes because they come out to 12 already without doing it. If I add 4, it's going to be 16, and it's going to be compatible with the other day. So let's do it with sequence of fours now. Alright, so now I can go back and forth between the sequence of fours and the sequence of thirds. Let's do them in a cycle. Let's do threes, then fours, then thirds. Oops, see? Botched the last note. You might as well just, it's like being at the Olympics and somebody on the balance beam does all kinds of crazy flips and it's so impressive, and then they land on their face. That's not going to be a 10, is it? All right, anyway, so that's what I'm looking for. I need to do it perfectly every time. That's what I'm working toward. Okay, and then I'll go into the middle string zigzag, but that's basically it. I might change the order up because I want to be able to go straight from threes into the thirds or thirds into the fours, you know, go do it, keep changing the order up, keep approaching it in another angle, from another angle. All right, that's the key here. Middle string zigzag, longer. It's actually twice as long. Middle string zigzag is basically 3 strings, and then on the middle string, we're going to do what I call a zigzag, which is your melody goes up and down and up. All right, so I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, next string, 4, 5, 6, with that back down, 5, 4, 5, 6. So that's the middle string there. We're going to go up. I'm going to do harmonic minor because it rules. 3 notes on each of these strings, 3 different pitches, that is. I'm going to be playing more notes than that per string, as in the melody itself is going to be longer. So 3 notes here, 1, 2, 3. Now it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 note melody on that string. And I'm going to go all the way to the top of these 3 notes. That's the highest of 3 strings. I'm going to turn back around. Zigzag here. 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. That's another 7 beats. And that leads me back to this. All right, so all together, that's going to be that's going to be 24. That's twice as long as the other melodies I'm doing. And just all putting it all together, let's try threes with the middle string zigzag. Twice. 24. Threes. fours as triplets. I'm going to do that twice too, since it was 12 beats before. I'm going to make it 24, so I'll do it twice, and then I'll do the middle string zigzag. Right, that's what that'll look like. The sequence of thirds with the connect 4, alternating with the middle string zigzag. Right, so it's just going to look kind of like that. Now, so I've got 4 different things, and I'm just going to try the combination of A with B, B with C, C with D, and so on. And that's just one mode of that scale. So I'm going to try with all of the different modes. I'm going to work my way through all 7 modes of that particular scale. This is harmonic minor. I'm going to try all the different modes of Aeolian. I'm going to try them all of major. I'm going to try them of all kinds of different things. I'll do melodic minor. I didn't throw melodic minor in here as a scale option, but I may soon. But anyway, that's sort of what this would be like, and that's a little bit more than I meant to get into in terms of sequences, but I'm going to be making a separate video about sequences among the many different ShredMentor strategies that I am going to demonstrate and summarize for you as time goes on. But I can only make so many videos in a short time, and it's already over 20 minutes now. So that is how you set this up, and then once again, excuse me, you go back to your woodshedding page and you can just collapse that. I would recommend leaving the areas of focus open once you've done that. As you move around from page to page, this should stay either open or closed wherever you last left it. And then you just peek at it. It's meant to just look at it. Oh yeah, right, that's what I want to do. Right, okay, cool. So let's do all that stuff with, there we go, 3-note per string, natural minor scale. All right, now I had string skipping on one day too, so maybe I'll add that to another day too. And without writing, I can see that I have it there. I'm going to work on string skipping with these sequences, so I can just look at any 3-note per string there. Let's stick with harmonic minor because it rules. And let's do the mode that starts where I was, which is where the root note is at the 7th fret. And there we go. Okay, good. And I'll string skip, so that'll be fun. Let's see. Maybe I'll do the next one. All right, so I'm doing strings 5, 3, and 1. All right, so not all linear stuff, right? So since, again, that's the whole point in string skipping, is starting to throw some wider intervals into the whole thing. It's not specifically because using strings that are not next to each other automatically sounds different. It's because of the distance between the notes, of course. So for melodic interest, and also breaking outside of this linear way of thinking, right? So it's also going to work out both hands, because your hand has to get used to suddenly jumping over however many strings, plus your pick also has to do that too. So the fretting and picking hand both get a lot out of that. So I can take that and add the sequence. The sequences work right into anything else you want to work on. So that's a big part of why I like to throw that kind of thing in there too. That all said, you know, look through the list. Just see what's in there, add whatever seems to apply. It's a pretty extensive list. Some things are going to be really oddly specific because I added them for very specific students. A lot of this site, even though, as like I said, I'm kind of the guinea pig, a lot of this site was really just built for specific students to do very specific things, because really, again, it's about getting results that actually mean something to you, and just grabbing it off the conveyor belt at, you know, in a one-size-fits-all fashion just really doesn't address personal goals, and that's going to undermine any attempt to be woodshedding and get anything real out of your time. So once again, hop on over, if you haven't done this already, shredmentoronline.com/WC, and this is how to set up your practice goals and your overall practice routine in a very straightforward thing. Again, this is not going to do much to manage it for you, but it'll keep you on track, and you really want to kind of spend your time coming up with ways to combine the things on your list. All right, that is it for now. I will be back with more updates. By the way, this sidebar over here with this handy mind map, I would highly recommend you also click on that, print that out for yourself too. It's a really good way to kind of also visualize your left and right hands jobs, and kind of keep the idea of different specific techniques in a more organized way in your mind, a good visual way of representing the majority of the picking and threading techniques that exist. I'm sure it's not the most complete list. I'm sure there's other things certainly I forgot something and left it out. You can always print it out and write it in, update it to be your own version, so that anything that you feel should have been on that list, well, it's your list now. So that's what it's for. If you have any questions, as always, you can always reach me at info@shredmentor.com, and I'd love to help. But say hi in the comments on this. I'd love to see what you're thinking of this, and any suggestions that will make this more helpful for you, I also welcome them as well. Until next time, rock on, my friend.